What is up, gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. As always, so glad to have you lovely folks on here. On today's episode, we'll be looking at the importance of authenticity and how to become more authentic and how to live an authentic life. And before we get into this episode, let's evaluate what the concept of authenticity is. Authenticity differs between person and person, and though it may differ, I believe that it has a centralized core fundamental. The core fundamental is that your actions align with your values. When you are being authentic, who you are and who you say you are, and the things that you do that supplement all of these things are all aligned together. So in order to be authentic, we must first understand our values. Before we go into our values, what is the purpose of authenticity? And what tangible benefits can we get in our day-to-day lives? Everyone has been there before, where you feel off track, you feel off balance, and everything in your life seems to be misaligned with where you always thought it would go. It is in this moment that you are living inauthentically. You understand that the actions you're taking day to day are not drawing you closer to the person that you know you must become. It is that lack of authenticity that seeps into everything that you do. It seeps into the way that you speak. It seeps into the way that you walk. It seeps into how you form bonds with other people. It seeps into the work that you do, the love that you give. All of these things are intertwined and interconnected. It may be the biggest and most important challenge in your life to figure out how to live authentically as yourself, and this episode is intended to help you do just that. When you live authentically, you're able to give to the world from a deeper part of yourself. You're able to work with more clarity and more structure. You're able to give to your work more energetically because you understand that the actions you're performing align to your core values, your core goals, and where you wish to be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. Let's just say you're starting a graphic design business, and one of your core values is to provide true value to people, to really give the gift of your talents. Any challenge that you face along that path, whether it's a troublesome client, whether it is the natural headaches of running and operating a small business, you understand that these challenges are a part of giving your authentic gift, and they will not distract you from that because you are very clear on, okay, I have these challenges, but at the same time, I cannot let them distract me from my core values. So you're able to overcome them. You're able to skirt them aside in the interest of continuing to live authentically. This is one very clear example of how an authentic representation or an authentic living can actually allow you to overcome specific key obstacles in an area like business. It'll get you to think creatively. It'll get you to think out of the box. It'll get you to be more compassionate as you try to find solutions to real challenges, to real problems. The same is going to be true in the people that you meet. The way that you speak with people comes down to ultimately how you see yourself. If you don't quite value yourself, you'll be much less willing to provide your own thoughts and your own opinions because you deep down subconsciously believe that they hold no merit. So the second that you're met with an opposing point of view, instead of trying to understand that point of view and then giving your feedback, your authentic feedback, you may default to one of two things. Either you default to completely shutting down and all of a sudden your opinions are invalid and you are unwilling to actually present what you have in mind, or you overcompensate and perhaps you go down the opposite side of the spectrum where you become extreme in defending and portraying your values. So there is two sides of the spectrum and both of them are living inauthentically. When you have an authentic understanding of how you wish to project yourself, you're more than willing to hear the opinion of someone else. You're also more than willing, because it is a part of who you are, to secede to this person. You're more than willing to say, listen, I actually agree with what you're saying. I've learned something from what you're saying. And when you're able to do that, you do it from a place of strength and authenticity, as opposed to you're just giving up ground to this other person because of a fear or a lack of compassion or a lack of confidence in who you are. Authenticity doesn't only impact what you say, but also how you say it. Your voice is one of the most magical instruments of influence and persuasion that you'll ever have. It beats your body language, it beats your gaze. It is the number one way that you're going to communicate with people. And it is through communication that you're able to get things done. When you're managing a team, when you're putting together a plan, when you're leading a partnership, you use your voice to communicate your thoughts, your ideas. You use it to communicate in a way that is loving. You use it in a way that to communicate that is also impactful, that is informative. So your voice is used in a variety of different scenarios. The way that your voice projects and is interpreted by someone else also impacts how they receive your message. If you say something in a way that is lazy, is low energy, is also uninspired, the person in front of you most likely is going to receive that energy and the tinge of energy in your voice in that specific way. Versus speaking from an authentic center where your words hold meaning, they have weight, they penetrate in a way that cannot be compared to the same person speaking inauthentically. And this is one of the true powers of authenticity. It's something that as you build up, as you become more confident in who you are, you're able to start to feel it in your voice. There's a baritone to your voice that just projects. There's a clarity. There's a simplicity as well to your words where you avoid using flowery language because you don't need to over-explain and you don't need to under-explain. What you say is just as it is. And that is extremely powerful. That is what authenticity can bring to you. So we've described some of the key benefits of living authentically. How does one become more authentic? What is the path towards authenticity? I find that there is no one answer to any of this. It's a very personalized experience for each and every single person. But there are a set of gathering or core fundamentals to this. Number one is it takes time. Authenticity is not something you were born with. Authenticity is something that you build. Authenticity is when who you are matches who you are in terms of what you say you are, that matches the actions that you do every single day to get you to the person that you ultimately wish you are. So if you are acting in alignment with that person, then you are being authentic. And it's not just one time. It is a series, a string of events, of long events over a long period of time that stack up in aid of your authentic self. The second thing is to understand who you are fundamentally. Most of us don't know ourselves. We don't know ourselves because we've never had the chance to truly sit down with ourselves and ask, what do I think? What do I believe? What am I triggered by? What makes me happy? We don't ask ourselves this because our lifestyle doesn't allow for it. The distractions that are around us don't allow for it. And we are constantly in a game of self-comparison. We're comparing ourselves to the things that we see, whether it's the people that are in our lives or the people that we see on screen. We're consistently comparing ourselves to the media that we consume. Even our thoughts, the thoughts that come into our mind, they're not original nor authentic thoughts. We may just be regurgitating something that we've heard on a YouTube video or on a podcast without really giving it the time and effort to understand, is this something that really aligns with who I am? I'm not trying to say to negate education and self-education. A lot of the concepts that I brought to you here are not novel concepts, but I believe in them. I believe in them because I've read them multiple times over. I've read them and reread them and reread them. And I've allowed them to soak into the very soil of who I am and allowed them to sprout into a tree that is my own. It bears the fruit that is Shadi Adada's fruit as opposed to someone else's fruit. But I've given that process time. I haven't just read something once and just spoke about it and regurgitated it. There's a difference between someone who's parroting someone else's information and opinions and someone who's speaking from their true authentic self. The words flow different. So you understand your core values. Your core values are wide and they're very varied. But for each person, you must identify them. For me, I've mentioned this before. My core values are respect. My core values are to provide value. My core values are to be compassionate, to be empathetic, to really try to understand the person in front of me. These are some of my core values. Anything that I do that is aligned with those core values, I know allow me to live authentically, even if they are considered to be quote unquote negative, even if they put me in moments of conflict. As long as I'm aligned with that core version of who I know I need to be, I'm living authentically and I'm able to project the version of myself that I need to. Another way to live authentically is to meditate. In meditation, you have a unique opportunity to sit down with yourself with zero distractions and to allow your mind to roam free. It is in the roaming free of the mind and the consistent bringing it back to point zero that you really find what are the recurring themes that float around in your mind. Where are you neurotic? Where are you paranoid? What are your weak points? What are the things that you consistently fixate on? These will come up time and time again through meditation. And they shine a light in front of you that allows you to see, okay, this theme, this concept is consistently being brought before my eyes. What does this say about who I am? Meditation really allows you to clear your thoughts and the things in front of you and to evaluate yourself at a truly base level. You guys would not be surprised to know how clouded our own judgments are, our own thoughts are. We never get the opportunity to really understand ourselves and to evaluate ourselves at a base level. Give it a try. I've done a separate video in the past that goes into the key benefits of meditation, and this is one of them. It is an opportunity to touch the envelope of your authentic self. Last but definitely not least, in order to live authentically, you have to do the work. How can you live in alignment with who you want to be if you're not taking the actions on a day-to-day basis that get you there? How can you live in alignment and authentically if you don't have a stack of evidence, if you don't have previous wins in your arsenal that show you, that are a constant reminder to you that you are on the right track? So in order to be authentic, not only do you know what your purpose is, not only do you know what your core values are, but you wake up each and every day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of life's inevitable ups and downs, and you take the actions necessary. You put that feeling of dread, that feeling of pain aside, and you're able to just do the work. You're able to be consistent. It is in that consistency and your ability to show up to yourself and for yourself every single day that allows you to build up your authentic self little by little. It may take years, it may take decades, but consistency is what allows you to build up that authenticity. Because authenticity is not a stone house. It's not a house that is made out of hay. It's not a house that will be blown away the second that a gust comes along. It is built on a foundation of cement, of mortar, of stone, of brick. It is something that is built brick by brick, day by day, so that over time, over 10 years, 20 years, nothing that comes your way, not the smallest gust, not the biggest storm, can blow it away. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please consider smashing a massive thumbs up. I speak these words from my heart, and me and my team, my videographer Dana, which I'm always so thankful for, we love to bring these messages to you guys. This channel is small, but it is a way for me to speak what is on my mind and to give you guys the things that have helped me. The things that have helped me live a life that is happy, that is fulfilled, that is stable, that is consistent, that is successful. And of course, I'm not perfect. I have many flaws and I work on myself every day. But within this framework of who I am, I've come to terms with the fact that even in my lowest of lows, that I have something that can drag me to bring me back and anchor me to the person I know I need to become. And this is the power of these words. This is the power of everything I've taught on this channel. If it's related to fashion, if it's related to fitness, if it's related to business, it's about getting you more centered on who you are and laser focused on what you want to become. Guys, from the very bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Shadi TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.